Zen is a old model vehicle today. So what happens is, Zen is not the name of the god. Zen is a meditation. The Japanese name for Zen, Japanese meaning of meditation is Zen. How it came? Let us see. Dhyan in India, dhyana, dhyanamu, dhyanam, whatever form you got, the Sanskrit word dhyana, has become Zan in China. Okay. They used to call it Chan, Zan. Okay. It traveled from India to China. From China it went to Japan. And somewhere name changes. They don't know, they always use yi for it. That's why it becomes Zen. Have you seen Japanese names all E, Q-E, Li? So somewhere they got, maybe it becomes Z-Zen, Zen, then Zazen. So there's actually Zazen is also a meditation. So it became Zen in Japan. And it went to Arabia and became Deen. D-E-E-N. Deen. Everything is the same. Deen is meditation. Zen is meditation. Dhyan is meditation. Chan is meditation. Jackie Chan, have you seen? The Chan is meditation. People don't know that Chan is something they think. Suzuki is the name of a Zen master. Honda is the name of a Zen master. Maybe not be knowing. I'm telling you how the names have emerged. Okay? And so many names, famous names, or Zen master's name. So what happens is the Zen will come to how it formed. Okay? How the Zen name came and how it started working. And about 2,600 years back, once a Buddha was sitting in a big, hall or whatever, what do we call it as? Meeting, a meditation meeting. And all were waiting what the Buddha will say, go to address us. So he was keeping quiet. Somebody has given him a flower. He was looking at the flower like this for about half an hour. He said, in the first row there was one person. His name is Mahakashyap. He's a close disciple, the number one. Okay, you can see. He looked at Buddha and smiled. He also smiled. He gave the flower to Mahakashyap and told the gathering, whatever I wanted to say, I've already told. Last 1 hour. I gave the flower to Mahakashyap because he understood my lecture. So what you say now is, this is the birth of Zen. Okay? This is the birth of Zen, where there's no need to speak in between the master and the disciple. You got it? So there is no necessity that you have to speak. You got it? Have you heard of Ramana Maharshi? He never used to speak much. Please read his autobiography. Nanyar, who am I? Nanu yaru. Ask a question, Nanu yaru. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? All that. You get a reason. Who am I? Prem Kumar. Then who am I? Engineer. Who am I? Artist's husband. Who am I? Architect. Who am I? Writer. Who am I? Then everything you say afterwards, it comes, I am nothing. Ultimately, I will say I am nothing. How many identities you have? But ultimately, who am I? If you go in the end, I say, I am nothing. I came from zero, I go back to zero. I came from shunya, I go back to shunya. I came as a zero, I have become a zero only. I am not. Okay? So, this is the beauty of Zen. This is the birth of Zen, how the Zen was formed. Okay? Then, there's no need to speak. In silence, everything happens. So that's why in Zen monasteries, they don't give lectures. So most of the time, they meditate. Sometimes for about an hour or so, they have a discourse. Okay? The Guru will come and talk. And that too how? Not lengthy lectures on theories and philosophies. They're very short and sweet. And very simple, straight. So like that, the Zen is formed. And it traveled throughout 2,500 years ago. It took birth in India. Unfortunately, it didn't flower here. The ground was not ready. The fertility of the Indians' consciousness was not ready to take. No talk. How can I say? I have to talk on Vedanta, I have to talk Purana, I have to talk Mahabharata, I have to talk Ramayana. All the things. They need people. There's an industry, temple industry was there. So how can you remove temple industry? Temple is what? It's a big structure, it's a system. Where a Pujari is there, he is the agent of the Lord. So he says, I am the agent, you have to go through me. I will only chant all mantras. You have to go through me. Okay? So what happens is, that's get affected. Once you say that there is no need of an agent, you can go talk to Lord directly. Buddha said, you talk to Lord directly. There is no need of a middleman. He said, it shook all the basic, the whole priests, the whole system was shaken up. So they were driven away. Buddhists. They went in the 5th, 6th century, Bodhidharma. I think I have seen a movie called Seventh Sense. Is I don't know, it just came in Tamil. So Bodhidharma went to China. A great healer. He is from south of the Kanchipuram. He went to China and he was a great healer. He just touch, people used to get healed. So much of the meditation has got so much of power. If you go out, just your presence can. The Buddha, when he used to walk, even in summer, the flowers used to just form. Flowering was happening. His aura was so powerful. I have seen some people, when they enter, you feel nice. Some people, I have seen, you get irritated. Because they carry that aura, negative aura with them. They carry that positive aura. The people who are positive, they attract positive. They attract cooperation of others. You got it? Got it? So even in corporate management, they are all changing. See, the earlier definition of dictatorship, divide and rule, politicking is not working today. Okay, have you seen? You have the ability, you will be given the choice. You will be given the chance to grow in your organization. So if you're working in a team, you will never think that I am only the person in a team. See, it's a beautiful spiritual concept. I am a part of a team. I want to co-create that. This Pyramid Valley, we may call ourselves as we are the architects, myself and Bharti, but we didn't do it alone. Have we done it? Maybe we have given the designs, technology, everything. But have we? A lot of people are involved in it. Contractors are involved. Workers are involved. So many people who have supplied materials. Don't you think all is a co-creation? So like that, once you understand in life that life is a co-creation. Fantastic. If you think I can do everything on my own, get isolated. So these are the perceptual change the Zen brought in. Then Bodhidharma, when he took the Dhyan it became Chan in Zen in China. Again, in China consciousness was not fertile enough. It didn't flower there also. It took roots. See, it took roots. A lot of people started following Buddha and other things, but it didn't take that kind of a flowering. And it went to Japan finally. So Japanese consciousness, the fertile ground was so powerful, they took it. Okay, so it thrived over the last many years. The Zen took deep root. Okay, under various masters. Okay, there are various masters like I have even given the photos of them. Some of them, like the earlier masters like Bodhidharma, Roshi, Hakuin, Roshi Pad, Zhu Yang, many other. You can get it in internet. Okay, so Zen is not just it is not written text. Believe it. It is not a written text that somebody has written. Okay, so it is passed from generation to generation from word. A guru gives the Zen's wisdom to his disciple. His disciple, he will pass away, he will leave the body. Have you seen the pagodas? Have you seen it? Please go and see the pagoda cottage here. This is in Chinese style. So they just got as monasteries. They used to make it, and they used to live, they used to practice, they used to be isolated from the society, but they are in the society. They go and beg, they get food. So they live, at the same time they are isolated. So the Zen was formed, the seeds were from India. It went to China, became Zan, and it became Zen in Japan, and ultimately it flowered there. And it became, as you see, my friends, is the Japanese product are the best products, and Chinese products, 3 months, 4 months, okay? Because somewhere they got the efficiency, okay? They got the efficiency Chinese, but somewhere they are going wrong, okay? And Japanese product, you see Japanese products, such a high standard, okay? They give such a great importance to the process, systems, ultimately the finished product. So the Americans are very market driven, they are ruthless. Japanese are not like they always give emphasis to quality, okay? They're not ruthless in terms of marketing. Have you seen Samsung advertisement? Have you seen another American product advertisement? How they push their product, even if it is the $100. Okay, so but Japanese consciousness is very close to Zen. Okay, so that is the reason Zen flowered in Japan, and it beautifully went on for many years. And let us see what is the difference between science and Zen. We call it a science. Here's a pure science, 1 + 1 2. We are all logical people. You cannot tell, Prem Kumar, don't tell me this. This world is full of logic. You cannot say, I need money to build a house. Yes, fine. I know it. I'm into construction, and we are that. You need money to build. You cannot say, I need money, so if I meditate, where I get money? You may call it. You may tell me. But meditation gives you money. People ask me, if I meditate, will I get money? I said, I tell them, you will not get money, but you will have a peaceful mind, so that it will allow you to make more money. Okay. It will not give you directly. Okay. So meditation will make you more relaxed, so that you take wise decision. You take a good decision. With good results. Ultimately, what you want? You want results. Okay. You want to build a house. You want to build a house. That is the result. So why you are worried? So a disturbed mind always creates a lot of problems. You see, a disturbed mind. Let us see what is science. What is science? The science is logical. 1 + 1 2. 1 + 1 2. We are all accustomed to 1 2 + 1 3. Yeah. Zen is magic. Okay. Why you want that bliss to be there? Remove it. Throw it to IBNC. Call it 11. Why not it be 11? That is magical. Possible. It is possible. Okay? We call it in Sanskrit, there is a term called Yadbhavam Tadbhavati. Okay? Yadbhavam Tadbhavati. What you sow in your mind, it gets manifested. Okay? So beautiful. Patriji talks on these principles of Yadbhavam Tadbhavati. We have built this beautiful institution. The last 10 years, 30 crores has been spent. You mean to say one person has given that? No. Thousands of people have given. Thousands of people are involved. So, Yadbhavam Tadbhavati. If a person comes with an empty pocket and says, I don't have money to build this pyramid, he has a sankalpa that I am going to build it for the Loka Kalyana. That's all. He gives that energy to the whole world. People come. That is magical. Correct? But if you start calculating, I don't have money to build, what to do? It will take 20 years to build. Okay? So, Japanese are not only concentrating, are you boring? Am I boring? You can feel very strong. If the Japanese product is good, they are not only interested in the finished product, they are also interested in the process. Okay? meticulous, so quality conscious, so system oriented, quality oriented. They process also they enjoy. So that is called Kaizen. Have you heard of Kaizen? I mean, some people in industry they know. Constant improvement. There's always scope for constant improvement. Only Japanese has got this. So they started this movement, Kaizen. Again, there is a Zen in it. Okay? And so, what is it constantly? Okay? If I can do better today, can I do better? Can I improve? Can I improvise? Like that, constantly they want to improve.
Can we also touch upon some practical aspects of Zen?
I will tell you. What's the time now? Can I have you? Good. You told me. Science is for go-getters, like we are all sitting here. Okay. Zen says, let go. Okay. So you be a go-getter, go after a goal. Baba, relax. You don't have to worry. It comes. Let go. Whatever happens, let it happen. If you want a child in 1 month, will it be born? No. It takes 9 months. Okay? So whatever natural period is there, it will happen. So the problem with us is we are all go-getters. We want to happen. Whatever used to take 10 years, we want to do it in 6 months. That is a fast thing which has come. Okay? And that is totally unnatural. Okay? So what happens? We are all getting into a trap of this go-gettership. Okay? I want to get something. I want to get something. NGO would go and stand. They are all going. You ask them, where are you going? No, I don't know. That fellow is going. That's why I'm going. He's running fast. I want to run faster. So it's a rat race. Okay? You want to come out of a rat. Even a winning rat. What's your name?
Archana.
Rachana?
Archana.
Archana. Even a rat which has won is what again a rat. Okay? So you want to be a rat or you want to be a different? So usually what happens in a competitive world, you remain a very, very competitive rat. We'll see how not to become a rat. Okay? And efficiency versus emotions. We always give importance to efficiency in science.
Now, could you please elaborate this go-getters and let go? Little further.
Your name, sir?
Murthy, Srinath Murthy.
See, the go-gettership is something you are after. The West says go-getter, go-getters. The Western consciousness is about go-gettership. Go, get this. For example, you want to get a promotion. So you work very hard, 18 hours, do your best, build your team, motivate them. You do 101%, your efficiency. But what happens during the process, you come across a lot of hurdles. You got it? People may not cooperate. The things may not be favorable. Okay? At that time, if you don't say let go, okay, fine, it is not happening today, it will happen tomorrow. Okay? Yesterday I was speaking for a group of people in the empty space, meditation center. The same thing I told. The go-getters and let go should go hand in hand. I have to accept, I'm a go-getter, yes, but something doesn't work, what to do now? Should I break my head? Should I shout at somebody? Should I start shouting? Should I start a fight? All those things are happening in the houses. All those things are happening in the offices. Whatever you stress from offices, you carry home. You get displaced on your child. Okay? If your wife have a fight, you and your wife fight, you go and you fire a subordinate of yours in the office. Please watch this. Watch this. Is this not happening? It is happening. Okay? Every day it is happening for me and you. In psychological language, it is called as displacement. It's a displacement, pure displacement. You accumulate stress, you want to give away somewhere. So what happens is, if you don't have that let go, fine. Go, be like a river. No rain, no river. That's all. Okay? No rain, no rain. problem is we want the life to be a straight line. Like this, no problems. It should be without problems. It should be without stress. See, life without stress or a problem, why you call it a stress? Why you call it as a stress? We are the given people who are given the word as stress and problem. Take it as challenge. Let us remove the words problem. Call it as challenge. Okay? I have a challenge before me. Tell like that. Start. Give a different name to a problem. Because always you talk about problem. You are a problem. You become a bundle of problems. Okay? So, and she asked the right question. I can get into that. So, we are not just for efficient. If you go after only efficiency, it's a science. You have to understand we are all human beings. Okay? If you have a bundle of emotions, respect that emotions. Along with efficiency, please respect the emotions of yourself and others. Okay? If just a failure can give you such an emotion, okay, you get into depressions. Fact is, you have failed in an attempt. Okay? What is you are getting depressed because this is the result. You are reacting as a depression. Some people go to a bar and drink. Okay? Some people go somewhere and do some, what do you call it, as a sort of a bypassing it. Okay? They try to avoid that. Instead of taking it head on, they bypass it. They want to go away from it. So all these things, please understand. Lastly, I want to say, as science talk of intelligence always. Okay? How intelligent quotient you have? What is your quotient? But spirituality and Zen is, we only talk in Zen about intuitions. There's only, see, the intelligence will take you to 50%. It stops. Okay? So it stops and give heart, big heart. Intelligence will give you a lot of work afterwards. What works I feel is, what is that hunch? What is the gut feeling inside? What is that some sort of a feeling inside that, yes, this will work. That may be a very, very crazy idea. It gives you, I should not trust this guy. You may have all the greatest presentation, he has done it. Somewhere deep within a voice tells you, don't do it. And it turned out to be true. Have you experienced it? Have you experienced sometime? All that logically everything is okay, but sometimes it says don't do it. Somewhere in the deep within you, it says don't do that. At that time you are saved. So it is about intuitions. It's not just purely about intuitions. Okay? And she asked beautifully about some of the concepts. There's no concepts from Zen. Okay? Zen is being within yourself, being here and now. Zen is taught through stories. Okay? So now I'm going to be a storyteller now. I'm going to tell some stories. That's all about Zen. Okay? There's no complex theories in Zen. Okay? And Buddha says beautifully, some master, some Buddhist master. If you see a stone Buddha, break it. If you melt it, break it. If you see a metal Buddha, melt it. If you see a wooden Buddha, burn it. If you see a wooden pottery, throw it or put it to water so that it gets melted. Ultimately remains is okay. So you don't have to be attached to a sort of any external agency. Okay? There's nothing external about Zen. It's about internal. Okay? The divinity is within you. It is not in X, Y, Z. Then you carrying that spirit within you is Zen. You are not when you carry that spirit within you, it gives you the way. It teaches you where to go, how to go about. Okay. For example, I'll tell you a story. Okay, how Zen is taught. two Zen monks are walking. There's a river comes in between. And a young girl comes there, okay? And that young girl is unable to cross the river because it is a little higher, like 6 feet or now. And these two Zen monks saw that young lady. And the first Zen monks asked her to sit on her shoulder. He dropped her to the next other bank. She just started walking towards his monastery. The second monk was very furious.